What's up, everyone? Welcome to my show, Adam the Flop Bops. I'm your host, Adam. If you're new here, I love talking about music tea, so if you love hearing about music tea, make sure you're subscribed to see more. But if you're not new and you're already subscribed, thank you so much. I stan you. Today, I'm talking about the album that has been dominating the charts, Midnights by Taylor Swift. This album is already a huge success, selling over 1 million units in the first week, and Taylor also occupied the entire top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 with songs from the album. What I want to focus on though is the lead single, Anti-Hero. This song has already spent multiple weeks at #1, and so this got me thinking, I think that Taylor Swift is really learning from her past mistakes and what didn't go well with her previous lead singles, and is trying to fix that for Anti-Hero in the Midnights era. Not only did Taylor block Rihanna from hitting #1 with her new single, but she also blocked Drake and 21 Savage with their new song. It really seems like Taylor is taking into consideration what didn't go well with her previous lead singles and is trying to fix that for Anti-Hero. Taylor's previous albums, Folklore, Evermore, and Reputation, didn't really experience much longevity on the charts, especially with their lead singles. Reputation in 2017 was the era where we saw Taylor Swift start to experience less longevity with her lead singles. The lead single, Look What You Made Me Do, hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it stayed there for 3 weeks, but it only charted for 20 weeks on the chart. In comparison, 1989's lead single, Shake It Off, spent 4 weeks at #1 and a whole 50 weeks on the chart. The same thing kind of happened with Folklore and Evermore. Folklore's lead single, Cardigan, spent 1 week at #1 and only 14 weeks on the chart. Evermore's lead single, Willow, performed a little better, charting for 20 weeks on the chart, but still only 1 week at #1. When Taylor released Midnights and Anti-Hero debuted at #1, I personally thought that it would only spend 1 week at #1, just like her previous lead singles from Folklore and Evermore. I mean, a week later, Rihanna released her first single in 6 years, so I figured that Anti-Hero would definitely not spend a second week at #1. I do think that if it was a proper Rihanna single, then it would have debuted at #1, but because it was just a soundtrack song and it wasn't really what people were expecting from Rihanna, that's why it did not hit #1 and it debuted at #2. However, the third week, Taylor had even more competition with both Drake and 21 Savage, who released their combined album. Their single Rich Flex from the album was originally predicted to debut at #1, dethroning Anti-Hero. However, Taylor was determined for Anti-Hero to spend a third week at #1. And how did she do this? By releasing 5 different remixes on her website for fans to purchase. With the sales of the 5 remixes combined, Anti-Hero had over 300,000 peer sales within the week. Even though Drake and 21 Savage had almost 60 million streams with Rich Flex, the song only had 2,600 sales, which ultimately led to it debuting right behind Anti-Hero. Taylor basically making sure that she was ahead of Drake on the chart makes me wonder if there's some kind of beef between them. Because the last I saw, Drake posted a picture of him and Taylor on his Instagram, and this got me thinking maybe they have a collab coming out, but I guess not. I think that with Midnights, Taylor really wanted to combine elements of her most successful pop era, 1989, with elements of Folklore and Evermore, which weren't her most successful albums. She probably really liked how even with her announcing Folklore and Evermore the day she released them, both albums had really strong debuts in sales. And with Midnight, she wanted to keep that idea of a surprise album because even though she announced it 2 months ahead of its release, there was no official lead single ahead of the album, so people had no idea what it would sound like. And I honestly think this really helped with the first week sales and it selling over 1 million units because people were really eager to stream it and figure out what genre it was. But because Midnight is a pop album, it seems like she wants it to have the longevity and the era that 1989 had. And that's why we see her working overtime, releasing multiple remixes to make sure that Anti-Hero spends several weeks at #1. Taylor Swift is a genius when it comes to this stuff, and it's honestly iconic that she's 16 years into her career and experiencing her most successful album era yet. Thank you all so much for tuning into this episode. Make sure you're subscribed to see more of Adam the Flop Bops, and also check out my short form content on my other social media profiles.